Hello and welcome to the Tower of London and to the Chapel Royal of St Peter ad Vincula for today's Thought for the Day. I want to begin by saying how shocked and saddened we have all been by the manner of Sir David Ames's death. A man who we know was motivated by his Christian faith, a man who's been spoken of by politicians and many other people as a man of enormous integrity and of kindness. A man who thought constantly of his constituents, but a man who wanted the very best for our nation. We pray most sincerely that he may rest in peace. And I'm sure you, like me, would want to join in praying for and thinking of his wife and his 5 children, and all those who loved and knew him, and who are so desperately going to miss him. On Saturday, I had the enormous privilege of conducting the wedding of Matt and Jo. Matt is our chapel clerk, and so it was particularly special to have the privilege of conducting that wedding. It was also a wonderful, glorious occasion here in the Tower where lots of the Tower community, yeoman warders and their families, all came along to support Matt and Jo on this very, very special occasion. And the flowers behind me are part of that great celebration. Matt and Jo, if you're listening to this, we send you our congratulations and our very best wishes for now and in the years to come. One of the questions that I'm periodically asked about is whether I've seen the film A Man for All Seasons. Of course, the logic behind that, of course, is that Thomas More, of which the film is all about, is buried here in the chapel. And of course, the answer to the question is, yes, I have, but some time ago. The star of the film, the reason the film is so special, I guess, for many people, is because of Thomas More's portrayal by Paul Schofield. A classical Shakespearean actor who always maintained that he was happier on the stage than on the screen. My goodness me, he really made a wonderful show of Thomas More in that film. And that's probably why it still keeps appearing, even now, 50-odd years later. There's a very important point in the film where Sir Thomas More, as he is Chancellor of England, or having been stripped of that, just a prisoner here at the Tower of London, is being questioned as to whether he has committed treason. And of course, we know the reason he was held here was because he wouldn't sign the oath of supremacy, stating that King Henry VIII was the head of the church in England and the Pope was no longer the head, and More couldn't sign up to that. What's so revealing about that question is the way in which Sir Thomas More answers it. And he answers it with complete silence. There's such an important moment in that film and such an important moment in that story when his authority, and that authority comes through his wisdom, his experience, his education, his great erudicity, and all those words that sum up a man of enormous intellect. The authority lies in his silence. He chose not to answer the question. And there's a parallel with that in the Bible, where Herod asks Jesus, who do you think you are? And Jesus doesn't answer. There's a silence. His authority lies in his silence. And so I suppose what I'm trying to raise with you today is that there are moments when people ask us a question, when the authority of our answer will lie in our silence and not in us trying to tie ourselves up in knots and answer the question. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. I have certainly experienced that at a number of times in my ministry. Of course, the slight counter answer to that is that sometimes we just simply don't know the answer to the question. But I think there are times, and that's what I've been dwelling on, when silence speaks more of authority and wisdom and the right answer than tying ourselves up in knots, trying to answer a question I'd ask you perhaps to think about this week, as we go through this coming week. I hope God will bless you all through the coming week, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon.